All right, let's dive in. Ever heard of The Greatest Salesman in the World?
Oh, absolutely. It's a classic.
Yeah, Og Mandino's work. It's not like your typical sales book, though, is it?
Right. More like a story, almost a parable, with these ancient scrolls that have these powerful principles, not just for sales either, like for life.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to unpack today in this deep dive.
Awesome.
So the book's structured around these 10 scrolls.
10, yeah. Each one's got like a key principle.
And you read them in order?
They build on each other, yeah.
Like steps, kind of?
Yeah, totally. It's like a step-by-step for like personal transformation.
Okay, so let's start with scroll I, the power of habits. Sounds kind of basic, maybe, but it goes deep. How habits, the right habits, set you up for success, especially in sales.
It's not just any habits though, right?
Yeah,
it's got to be the ones that that line up with your goals. And the scroll, it actually like recommends specific ones, like starting your day with positive affirmations and visualizing your success. There's even a method for like making these habits stick.
Yeah.
Reading the scroll 3 times a day, every single day, for several days straight.
3 times a day. Wow, that's commitment. I can see how that repetition, though, that could really I don't know, ingrain it.
Like programming your mind, right, for success.
Exactly.
The scroll, it says these habits lead to more energy, vitality, and enthusiasm.
Huh?
All super important in sales. When you're feeling good and energized, kind of rubs off on people.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's contagious.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that can make or break a sale.
Absolutely. Builds that confidence, too. All right, scroll I sets the stage. Then scroll 2, this is where it gets interesting. The weapon of love.
Love as a weapon. That's an interesting concept.
Yeah, it sounds kind of counterintuitive.
It does.
But the scroll says love, like in the sense of really caring about people, respecting them. It's the most powerful tool a salesperson can have. Not about tricks or manipulation.
No.
It's about real connection.
Genuine.
But what's that look like in a real sales situation?
Well, it gives examples, right? Like praising your competitors or going out of your way to help a client, even if it doesn't, directly benefit you. It's shifting your focus from just making the sale to like really helping.
I see. So building trust.
Yeah. Rapport.
Yeah.
Showing you actually care about them as a person, not just like a potential sale.
Not just their wallet.
Exactly. The scroll even says like when you express love this way, it's like a shield against negativity and all the rejection that comes with sales,
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you're going in with a genuine desire to help, it stings less when you get a no.
Exactly. It's like reframing the whole thing. It's about relationships, not just transactions.
So we got habits, we got love. Now, scroll 3, the importance of persistence. This one, pretty self-explanatory, right?
Yeah. In sales, got to be persistent.
Gotta be.
But the scroll, it uses this cool analogy. It's like a bull in the arena. Doesn't matter how many times it gets knocked down, it gets back up, keeps charging. That's the spirit.
So it's not just trying hard, it's like that belief in yourself, that you can do it, even when it's tough.
Totally. It says, like, get rid of all that failure language and replace it with words of determination. Obstacles, they're not roadblocks, they're detours, challenges to overcome. It's about having that attitude like, I will not be denied.
That's huge in sales when you're facing like rejection after rejection.
All the time, yeah.
Got to have that inner strength to just keep going.
The scroll even says, like, by embracing persistence, you actually attract success. The more you refuse to give up, the more likely you are to achieve your goals.
So 3 scrolls down, habits, love, persistence, powerful stuff. But how does this all play out in the story itself?
Right. So this is where we meet Hafid. He's our main guy. Starts out as a humble camel boy, but he's got big dreams, wants a life of wealth and success. And his journey to get there, that's where these principles really come alive.
And it starts with a challenge, right?
Yeah, he gets this task. He's got to sell a single red robe.
One robe
in Bethlehem.
Okay.
This is a test. His mentor, Pathros, this master salesman. He's kind of sizing Hafid up, seeing what he's made of.
Because Pathros, he's the one with the scrolls, right?
Yeah, he's got the key to all this wisdom, and he's not just going to give it to anybody.
So Hafid goes off to Bethlehem.
With his robe and a whole lot of determination.
But it doesn't go so well, does it?
Not at first, no.
Yeah.
He gets rejected left and right, people shutting doors in his face.
Talk about a humbling experience.
Oh, yeah. Real trial by fire. He starts doubting himself, wondering if he's got what it takes,
This is where that persistence comes in.
Big time.
So he's struggling, feeling defeated, and then he does something that seems, well, kind of crazy. Gives the robe away.
He does. To a family that really needs it. They're huddled in a cave with a newborn baby. It's this moment of pure generosity. Shows what a feed's really about,
And that's where it gets almost like mystical.
Yeah.
He leaves Bethlehem, and there's this bright star in the sky, and it's following him.
Pathros sees this, and he's blown away. He takes it as a sign, like maybe Hafid is the one.
Hey, right. But what was it about that act, giving away the robe, that was so powerful?
That's a good question. Guess you'll have to wait for part 2 of our deep dive to find out. But here's something to think about. Was giving away the robe a mistake? Or was it like the key to his success? It's like Pathros is looking for more than just a good salesman, right? Someone who really gets these principles.
Yeah.
Like lives them.
Embodies them.
Yeah. And remember, Pathros, he was once a camel boy too.
Oh, right.
He got these scrolls as a gift from some mysterious traveler. Changed his whole life.
So he knows firsthand how powerful they are, but why all the secrecy? Why not just share them with everyone?
Well, he made a promise, right? An oath.
An oath, okay.
To only show the scrolls when he saw a specific sign.
And that sign was Hafid giving away the robe.
Seems like it, yeah. It's like a test. Pathros wanted to make sure, like Hafid wasn't just in it for the money.
Had a good heart.
Exactly. So now things get really interesting. Pathros, he knows he's dying. So he calls Hafid to his bedside.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, okay, you want to get these scrolls? 3 conditions.
3 conditions. All right, let's hear them. What's the first one?
First one's pretty straightforward. Hafid is got to follow those instructions in scroll I, the one about habits.
Makes sense. Got to build that foundation.
Yeah, discipline, self-mastery, all that. Second condition's a little more radical.
Oh.
Pathros tells him he's got to give away half of everything he earns. Always.
Half. Wow. That's a big ask. But it kind of fits, right, with the whole idea of the scrolls.
Oh, yeah. It's not just about getting rich.
It's about giving back.
Exactly. Using what you have to help others. Pretty powerful message, don't you think?
Definitely. Especially these days. Okay, 2 conditions down. What's the third one?
This one's interesting. Pathros tells him he can't share the scrolls or the wisdom in them with anyone.
Why not?
He says one day, Hafid will meet someone, and that person will give him a sign. Just like the star and, Hafid giving away the robe.
So it's like passing the torch to the next generation.
But only when the time's right.
Yeah.
And the right person comes along. And get this, Pathros says the third person to get the scrolls, they'll have a choice. They can share the wisdom if they want.
Wow. So it's like Hafid's this link in the chain, protecting this knowledge, but also maybe one day it gets shared with the world.
A lot of pressure, huh? What do you think, by the way? Is that restriction a good thing? Or does it just keep valuable knowledge hidden?
Tough question. Makes you think about preserving ancient wisdom, but also making it accessible.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so Pathros gives Hafid the scrolls and 100 gold talents to start his new life. Then Pathros dies.
Oh, wow. So now Hafid's on his own.
He heads to Damascus. Big city, lots of opportunity, but also dangerous.
That's a big change from being a camel boy.
Huge change. He even starts doubting himself, wondering if he can make it in this new world.
It's like that feeling we all get sometimes, right? When we're trying something new.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. You see everyone else succeeding and you're like, can I really do this?
He sees all this wealth and he's like, do I even belong here?
So does he give up? Goes back to the desert.
Almost. But then this little thing happens. It changes everything. He finds a sparrow trapped in his room.
A sparrow? What's so special about a sparrow?
It's a symbol of courage. This tiny bird got into his room through this tiny hole in the window. It's like, if this little sparrow could overcome obstacles, so can Hafid.
I like that. Sometimes it's the small things, right? They give you that little push you need.
Totally. So Hafid, he's inspired, opens up the chest with the scrolls, picks up scroll I, the one about habits.
Back to the beginning.
Yeah. But this time, it's different. He's not just reading it, he's ready to actually live it. He's seen what generosity can do. He knows persistence is key. He's ready to change from the inside out.
He's going from theory to practice, but there's still 9 more scrolls to go.
Long way to go. And he still can't tell anyone about him. He's got to figure this all out on his own, waiting for that sign to know who who to pass the scrolls on to. What do you think he'll do with all this knowledge?
Yeah, how will he use it to reach his goals and fulfill the promise he made to Pathros?
Good questions. Guess we'll have to dive into those other scrolls to find out. Think about this, though. If you were Hafid, how would you handle this? You want success, but you also got to protect this ancient wisdom. How do you balance those two things?
So Hafid's back to scroll I, the one about habits.
Yeah, but now he's really taking it seriously. Remember how the scroll says? Exactly. And, it's easy to get caught up in the big ideas, but the scroll gets down to the nitty-gritty.
Like what?
Like, it's not enough to just think positive, got to do something. Actually, build those habits into your day.
Gotta do work.
Totally. It talks about repetition, doing the same thing, the right things again and again and again, until it's like second nature.
Rewiring your brain.
Exactly.
And it works for Hafid, right?
Oh yeah, big time. He starts to feel the changes, more energy, better focus, way more confident.
Happier even, I bet.
Totally. The scroll says when you're building good habits, you kind of naturally drop the bad ones, like clearing out the junk.
Make space for the good stuff.
Yeah. You are what you repeatedly do. Hafid, he's becoming the principles he's learning.
So with that solid base from scroll I, he's ready for the next scroll.
And then the next one.
Yeah.
And the next. Each one's a challenge, but also like opens up new understanding.
He's learning about love, persistence, self-control.
Persuasion, time management, the importance of faith.
So many pieces.
Like putting together a puzzle. And all the while, remember, he can't tell anyone about this.
Oh, right. Still got that oath hanging over him.
Heavy burden, right. But maybe it also keeps him focused.
How so?
Well, he knows he's got to master this stuff first
before
he can pass it on. It's like a responsibility.
A legacy, almost.
Yeah. And he does it, builds a successful business in Damascus. People love him. He's honest, treats everyone right.
And he gives half his money away?
Never forgets that. It's like the story becomes about more than just sales at that point. It's about living a good life, a life that means something.
Having impact.
Exactly. But still, who's he going to give those scrolls to? Does he ever find the right person?
That's the question.
We don't really get an answer in the book.
So what do you think Og Mandino, the author, was trying to do there?
It's like he's inviting us to keep the story going. We got to find our own answers.
It's our turn to take up the challenge.
Right. So as you think about everything we've talked about today, what's stuck with you? The power of habits. That idea of love as a weapon. Or maybe that bull in the arena, always getting back up.
Those are some powerful images.
And think about how you can use those ideas in your own life. Doesn't matter what your goals are. These principles, they can help.
They're for everyone.
Absolutely. One last thing to think about. What's your sign? How will you know when it's time to pass on what you've learned? Something to ponder as you go out there and, make your own mark on the world.
Great advice. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the greatest salesman in the world. Thanks for listening.
Waiting for tonight.